Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports.
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. A side official, no negotiation needed, period. You already know WCS is back with it. Late night, stopped in, had to speak on it. Shout out to Haynes Legacy is in the building. What's good, man? Hopefully all is well and doing better, man. I know you say you had surgery. Hey, definitely keep your prayers, Legacy, man. You know, as you keep on marching through this health recovery, you know what I'm saying? My brother, you always in the prayers, man. One love to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keep your chin up in this case. Use this in boxing. Keep your chin tucked. But keep your chin up, man. Eyes open, you know, and faith in the Most High. You feel me? You already know. As you boxing fans have been out here frequent these streets, you've probably seen where Turki Al-Sheikh has made his presence known once again. Yes, we need to talk about what's on the surface of boxing. We need to do a little maintenance. Turki Al-Sheikh has made another move in boxing. Now, before I get knee deep in the Riyadh season and the ring and all of Turki's progress and traction that he has going on, we must understand that it was people out here, you know, trying their best to say that when it comes to Turki Al-Sheikh, I want to just have all the negative shit to say. And nothing's ever going to be perfect in boxing. I mean, the business of boxing, just think about how difficult it is to run a boxer, to be on a team of a boxer in the sport. But yet you're talking about somebody that's on the level, you know what I'm saying, one of the higher elevations in this sport with making decisions. And it has been a touch and go situation with fight fans to accept him and what he has going on. You know why? Because they don't want to. They simply do not want to accept what he has going on. They seen that he was partnering with Dana White and Nick Khan. They had something to say about it, even though it was never a letter sent to them requesting a sum or a small stipend to help them jumpstart. It was never a letter sent to these individuals as if they was crowdsourcing funds, as if it was some type of fundraiser, a GoFund none. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this got to a point where they was just out here saying that Turki bad for boxing and he can't take over boxing. And, you know, he's going to sit up here and ruin the sport. And I said to myself, how can you ruin a sport that's already been, you know, partially submerged anyway? Boxing's never truly been afloat and thriving. On the pandemic, you damn near saw this shit sink into the bottom. They was very close to getting on the horn and calling up a dive team to go down there and help bring boxing back up to the surface at least, because they was struggling. But Turki Al-Sheikh, word is broke that he just signed 18 in those 16 knockouts. Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason has just signed a sponsorship with Turkey Al Sheikh. And see, when you understand that boxing is a business, you also understand that it's a non-regulated sport where it allows individuals to eat from all the branches. So it's really no one person or no one organization or group that is stopping the motion, such as what Turkey is doing. No one really out there that's doing that. And then on the other hand, you have to say to yourself, well, I didn't see Abdullah Mason signing a sponsorship deal with Ring. You know what I'm saying? But that just popped out of nowhere. And like I said, there's been a lot of criticism with Ring. Initially they signed Naoya Inoue. They signed him several weeks ago to a sponsorship deal. And then, they're nitpicking certain fighters on who they want to sign. And it has to be a plus. But you know who they just recently signed also with Abdullah Mason? The fighter who I said his family is all about the business. Now, this becomes interesting because Shakur Stevenson was all standing on all 10 and both ankles firmly planted. And he felt that Turki Al Sheikh wronged him by presenting him with numbers initially to fight William Cepeda and then acted. Okay, we all know in boxing, if it ain't on paper and that ink haven't dried, then it's always up for revision. And if you was feeling good that night, Turki Al Sheikh invited you over, and y'all was having a sidebar or a private convo, and he told you something, handshake, he might even gave you a hug. But unless it's on paper, it doesn't matter. And Shakur was like, nah, he was really throwing shade at Turkey. And he's still putting tweets out there. Nah. So what Turkey do? Turkey came up here and say, Shakur Stevenson will not be fighting on Riyadh. Now, I want y'all to understand some things, right? Because some people they'll listen, but they don't hear what I'm saying. They might have something else in their heart that forces them to feel a certain way. But let me break something down to you right quick. I just told you briefly about what happened with Shakur Stevenson, right? But peep this out. I'm gonna tell you how very insidious. I didn't say insidious. How insidious boxing can be. Okay, very sleek, very, 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 very sneaky, sly, however clever, however you want to do it. Boxing can be an insidious type of sport to do business in. Shakur Stevenson made his stand and he said, you know what? I don't like the lack of integrity. And I know it wasn't all Shakur. It had to be with his manager too. If the manager was told one thing and then he reneged, hey, Turk said, I don't have to play hardball with you. What'd he do? What Turkey do? He went and got Keyshawn, his goddamn builder buddy, his family, his best friend. Come on, Turkey ain't playing fair with y'all, dog. Turkey did not waste any time showing Shakur who's making the calls. He ain't waste no time. Turkey is petty. Ooh, Big Turk. I told you his name was Big Turk from the beginning. Big Turk say, man, I'm Debo on the block. He went over there and grabbed Keyshawn. Now, what kind of bold-faced counter shot is that? He slapped him dead in his face. The evolution is here. You must now stand and acknowledge my power. The evolution is here, y'all. Turki Al Sheikh is playing chess on many different boards at once. However you want to say it, Shakur Stevenson did his thing and say, I'm standing on mine. I won't be controlled. and Turkey go out there and reach out to the businessman, Business Key. He went out there and reached out to Business Key. And you know the Key family, you know the Davis family, bro, they all about the business. You got the mama in it, the brothers in it, the sisters in it. You got the whole Norfolk in it. And what was Keyshawn doing? A signing, signing, signing. Keyshawn came up here signing, y'all. No, not ASL signing now. No, stop that shit now. Keyshawn Davis was up there signing. Ain't that a message? Did Turkey not send a message out there? He said, I'm not playing no games with you dudes. You can say what you want, get mad. If you clearly don't understand what business is about and know that this can make you more money than what you actually have right now, especially if you have limited sponsorships from collectively around, period, from other entities. I mean, why wouldn't you want to sign on and get this extra moolah? He's providing you extra monetary gain. I find it very beneficial. I find it extremely helpful to these fighters who doesn't and will probably never in a long time get a severance package. So I appreciate, the sponsorships is coming around for the ring. But I would like my guy Jihad Tucker to get some sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Turkey, I would like Jihad Tucker to get some sponsorship, bro. Real talk, Big Turk. Come on, let's work out a deal or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Do it for a vet, man. Do it for an old vet. Do it for the veterans, man. I don't see you talking about the veterans too much. But can I put in my special request, man? Sign Jihad Tucker to some of that sponsorship money, man. But back to the two fighters, Abdullah Mason. Shout out and congratulations to Abdullah Mason. Shout out to Team Davis and the fam. Shout out to them, bro. Turki Al-Sheikh is not playing around with you people that's trying to play hardball with them. And really, that's not what the level he's on. The benefit for which he has with signing these young talents is the only direction they can go is up from here. I mean, the monetary gain that they get from Turki Al-Sheikh is definitely beneficial when they would probably never have a sponsor like this on this type of platform at this height in boxing on this particular platform, putting on boxing, providing more exposure for these fighters. They probably would have never gotten this anytime soon, especially with their experience. You feel me? So, I salute Turki Al-Sheikh, but I don't quite understand why people are not looking at it like the new evolution. They're looking at it more so that the fighters that are attending Turkey pretty much have to kiss the ring. Seriously. I hear a lot of people talking and still bigging up the PBC side of the house, but they feel like majority of the fighters of the fresh new faces, the young faces here in the U.S. that's signing have to do something. I'm not saying that type of something. I'm just saying they're attempting trying to make it seem like some of these fighters are just selling out. Well, once again, these fighters are being able to make more money. And now we're seeing Keyshawn Davis, who gives me every indication that him and his family totally understands what the business of boxing is about. So when I seen him sign, I automatically said, wow, Turkey is playing chess. Turkey is not giving a damn about feelings. Turkey is up here sending messages, and them motherfuckers are straight and direct or subliminal. However you want to receive them, that's what Turkey is doing. He scooped up Keyshawn right after Shakur Stevenson made a big deal about not being played with or whatever his case was. And I'm not feeling no way about Shakur. I don't know what the real numbers was that Turkey reneged on. But if you reneged on something and it's that bad, I would just like to know what the numbers are. I would like to know if he promised you like 5 million, but then after Cepeda Farmer fight, he came in with 1.2. You know what I'm saying? I want to know if it was that much of a drop. That's what I want to know. I just want to know, was it that drastic of a reduction for Shakur Stevenson to really stand his ground? I don't knock him for standing his ground. I just want to know the purpose for which he stood his ground. Was it something that will benefit you? Is there any recovery for Shakur being that Keyshawn has signed and he's going to get that sponsorship money? Is it any way that Shakur Stevenson can get back in Turkey's good graces? And my answer is yes. You know why I say yes? It's because Turkey has made it perfectly clear that he can do business with somebody, but he doesn't have to like them. Now, I know the business of boxing when it comes to fighting is different than the business when it comes to signing someone for sponsorship. I'm going to be absolutely honest. I don't know his criteria, nor do I know if he have any prerequisites in how he go out here and source these fighters to sign them for sponsorships. I don't know what his team has been sent out to do, what they're looking for in a fighter to bring them over there and sign them for sponsorship. But this seemed like a very strategic move. Me being used to tactics, a retired vet myself, I do remember those operations where tactics was everything. I do remember being out in the heavy foliage and had to make your way back to a certain rally point. So, it comes down to will a will an intervention happen where a phone call is made to get to get Shakur back over there? And I'm not saying leave the numbers that he had for you previously alone. I'm just saying to try to get back over there so you can at least have that money. Because one thing I say about Stevenson, he does take care of a lot of people. I have my share of criticism, but one thing I respect about Shakur Stevenson is that I was able to go to Newark, and I had a grand time being one of the only content creators there when he had the mayor and all those other guys, those politicians come by the Boylan Street Recreational Center with the kids. And there was a lot of kids in there. It was several dozen kids in there that packed out the recreation center. And that day, Shakur Stevenson came over there and talked to the kids, and that was a grand moment. But I have learned a lot. People have told me a lot about people that he take care of and stuff like that. And also, that this sponsorship money can definitely benefit him. Now that he has a baby on deck, he has his girl. Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. But he's probably going to have to apologize some way, shape, or form. And it's not going to be dapping other hands either. But one thing I remember Turkey said, he doesn't have to like a person to do business with him. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's it. It gets down to that point right there. What is it going to take for Shakur Stevenson to make this happen, to rekindle what he had, or to reconnect with Turkey to get this money? That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of people saying that these fighters have to kiss the ring. I really don't care, but I do find it quite hilarious that when certain people are not privy to an invite, they always try to put some shit up here that deals with personal servitude. And I get it. I truly do, because in life they always tell you what that cliche term, nothing is for free, man. You know what I'm saying? They said nothing is for free. And boxing, man, it's a lot that you have to earn. Let me get to another aspect of news that broke today, man, has been making its rounds. I'm talking about a full sprint. Schofield, Schofield Jr., which is the dad of Kid Austin, you know, they have yet to step back in the center square from their Riyadh debut, for which he ended up getting sick, becoming ill. That fight was supposed to be against one and only Shakur Stevenson. Somehow, some way, close to the fight, he became ill, and then Josh Patley was the replacement. I'm definitely not talking about Josh Patley right now, but I do want to talk about the Schofields. Some people believe the focus should be on the wrong thing. They want to talk about how vociferous his dad is, how he talks too much, he says all the wrong things, he's a bad representation. And if you listen to boxing fans, you would know one thing about these father-son tandems. You know what they say? Oh, he needs to fire his dad. Just think about this, right? Just think about all the reality shows that we have that are televised, and how we say the black fathers is not in the home. And we talk about how black fathers are the only ones that can raise black men, black boys to become black men. Okay. We hear that all the time. We always talk about supporting the family structure where, you know, back in the day, welfare pretty much crumbled that family dynamic, right? Now we get to a point where boxing has certain fighters that have their father in the corner. Their father is actually on the team. We've been seeing a lot of explosive exchanges and encounters of people speaking about father and son tandems. The Schofields is one of them. We've been waiting for Schofield's breakout fight. We've been waiting. There's been a lot of rumblings back and forth, a little chitter chatter, a buzz here and there, right? So word has it that Abdullah Mason offered Team Schofield just over $1 million for a fight. $1 million, y'all. Remember, Teofimo said he ain't made $1 million yet. And you know, look. If Schofield was to take $1 million, he ain't making $1 million either. And you know, when people say they're making $1 million, they talking about take home pay. They're talking about net. After everything has been paid, all deductions and all that, this is what my take home is. But that is absolutely the highest pay that Schofield would have made in his career. Now, let me play this audio and let you listen to what his pop said, because this what some people are talking about. His father's response. And if you know Schofield Jr., he's a grown ass man, and he talk his shit. He ain't a goddamn afraid to be outspoken. He doesn't care nothing about the volume. If you don't like the words that's coming out of his mouth, leave the area, or somehow, some way, plug your ears. Let's listen to this audio right now, and I want to know what y'all think.
Y'all, I'm driving real fast, but I just had to update y'all on something before it hit the news, or before it hit social media. We've been offered a fight with Abdullah Mason. Hell yeah, we accept that. $2.5 million. That's the price. So put the money on the wood, it all go good. Yesterday price ain't today's price, baby. Let's get this money, baby. Yes, we'll fight that brother. Put the money on the wood. He's with Turkey now and all them. Let's go. Jay Prince got money. Put that money up. Y'all believe on y'all guy.
You know, you're getting $1
million. The news, or before it hit social media. We've been offered a fight with Abdullah Mason. Hell yeah, we accept that. $2.5 million. That's the price. So put the money on the wood, it all go good. Yesterday price ain't today's price, baby. Let's get this money, baby. Yes, we'll fight that brother. Put the money on the wood. He's with Turkey now and all them. Let's go. Jay Prince got money. Put that money up. Y'all believe on y'all guy.
You know, you're getting a lot of praise like across the board. You know, and I think
Shout out to Fight Hype. Shout out to Fight Hype.
I don't know if you saw it or it was like the text I sent you, but did you see what Turkey said? You know,
Yeah, I saw what he said.
he
I saw
mentioned
what
he said,
said.
I think Abdullah Mason has a lot. He reminds me of Muhammad Ali in the beginning, essentially, and I hope he's focused and training hard. So, I know you went over. I think I don't know if it was the Bivol Betterby fight.
Yeah, the Bivol Betterby fight. Yep.
Have you met? It was part of the conversation. Like, did you guys have a conversation which kind of led to a tweet, or is he just kind of just a fan across the board and he just threw that out?
No, we didn't meet. You know, we didn't actually meet. So I guess he's been watching me. You know, a fan across the board. We've been there when we got there. We did a little meeting and stuff like that. So that's probably where that comes from. Him just seeing my fights and seeing me there. So he probably just wanted to say that.
It was Shakur and Kid Austin, right? Originally the setup was Kid Austin gets an opportunity to fight Shakur if he's willing to fight you. They stood their mandatory position for their rankings, but managed to, I guess, get the fight with Shakur when Zepeda wasn't able to negotiate because he was injured. But then they pulled up because they stated they had an injury out in Saudi. So Shakur doesn't really seem like he's looking to do that fight again with Kid. So it kind of comes back to the idea that Floyd is ranked number one. You're in one of the sanctioning bodies, still the WBA. You're climbing up. I'm sure you're going to be 5, 4, 3 in a couple months. You get past your opponents. So I know you have history. You guys sparred. I know his dad said some stuff out on social media. Granted, is it possible you and Kid Austin revisit or even not revisit at a time where not a champion, but you guys will be kind of the new like Shakur and Tank? Or
I've always said since day one that I was ready. And it's kind of clear that they playing around. He just fell out with the fight with Shakur. And
damn, Abdullah Mason says it's clear that they playing around. Damn. So he thinks Schofield playing around. Hey, them Masons, they getting down to business. 18-0 came quick in a hurry, didn't it? I remember when Mason just stepped on the scene. I remember he just touched down, bro. Fresh souls on deck. I remember he was newly building up his credentials. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. He was just building up his credentials, and now they send the offer over to Schofield, and I have to propose this question. I have to ask you this question. Do y'all believe that Schofield, Schofield Jr., his pops, okay, because his son is Kid Austin, but, his pops is a junior. Do y'all believe that Schofield Jr. is somewhat outsourcing himself? Notice I said outsourcing himself. The reason why I phrase it like that is that most people said you think they're out what themselves, pricing themselves. Once again, this is boxing. I don't think 2.5 million is outpricing yourself if you have the person that's willing to give you that money, right? But also you have to go off where and how do they build up the value to give you that type of purse? That is the biggest question. That's the biggest question. People want to know, is it ducking for them requesting such a high counter? But I want to know if Team Mason is willing to give them a counter offer. I really do. I want to know if they're willing to go from 2.5 to give them a counter offer. Or they might just say that's too high, period. There's no need to waste our time. They're not going to take the fight. But you clearly heard Abdullah say he believes they're playing around.
He was able to fight him. So, that's not really a conversation that, that I need to have. I hear they just said that they skipped over Kambosos because Kambosos wasn't in the top 5. So, that's not really, it's not a realistic thing.
Granted, if it's that complicated with guys, it's going to be more than
I mean, with me, I'm easy. I'm willing to fight, and that makes it easy for a fighter. If you if you want to fight somebody who's willing to fight, who wants to fight, then you gonna get that fight.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the fighters that's willing to fight. So I would say I'm easy. So he should fight though. He should fight me.
Abdullah have a bright future, man. Real talk. The way his dad raised them warriors over there, man. He got a good chance to really make a landfall in boxing real soon if he continue to win. I mean, because they're moving him up the ladder very, very quickly. And with that is going to come responsibilities to keep on sustaining that winning record. He hasn't shown that he's a weak-hearted fighter when faced with adversity. He's shown that he is, constantly improving in the gym, but his competition has to constantly improve also. He's now 18-0, and now people are looking at it like, hey, now we want to see this guy who's being televised. We want to see him fight stiffer competition. But at the end of the day, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's selling his brand. He's come off as a respectful, boxer. He barely trash talk about anything, and his pop is running a very great format with his sons over there, especially Abdullah leading the squad in this boxing game. They're doing an outstanding job over there.
You guys sparred each other in Vegas without going into details. You were an amateur at the time, right? Coming up while he was pro.
Yeah. He was like 2-0 or something like. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah. You still remember that sparring session?
See, this is how they be proud about. Real talk. This is how they proud about sparring. That's one thing. Say me being independent media. If I was to ask that question, I say, I ain't talking about it. I don't ask the brothers about that question. They always act like you asking them about their social security number, so you want to open line of credit.
What's it?
Yeah, for sure.
I know that there's a lot of like propositions. Granted, if you fought like Williams and Beta, that would get you like the Shakur Stevenson fight. But seeing that if that fight with Shakur and William may happen, how does that work with you? Do you think that you'll get Shakur right away, or would you have to do something?
If Beta's the way to go, then that's the one I got to get out the way. If it's whoever, I'm just here to fight the best. He has a title in my division. Why wouldn't I not want to fight him?
I have to ask because he propositioned Abdullah Mason as a potential. Would you guys do that? Abdullah Mason fight for Shakur?
If it takes for Mason, like I said, for me to get Shakur, so be it. We told him the email. They didn't send a contract yet, so that's on them. We did our part.
You think Oscar would actually entertain the idea? Because I know it's two different promotions, but maybe you and Abdullah and Shakur and Williams to pay the undercard.
If I push for it, yeah.
Yeah? You mean push for it? It's like
if I'm like, Oscar, I want this fight so I can fight Shakur, I feel like he's with it. But Oscar's my promoter at the end of the day. If he feels like he wants to hold me on the show for a bit, I ain't going to go against his decision. He knows what he's doing. So, but if that fight presents itself, I'm going to take it.
And, people going to say what they're going to say. I think he said that because, I think he want to make it seem like me and him, we right here with it. So he pushing me over to Keyshawn because I'm his guy, but that's not really the case.
Hey, Ron, you playing a Survivor like that TV show?
Yeah. On Survivor, they play and they get the other person together. They interrogate the two so they could elimination.
Okay. So he's trying to move you away so that he can go straight. And this is a senior. Hey, Abdullah, Keyshawn, please, you guys go over there, right? Because we don't really necessarily want to take that road. So we can go. Sounds like you guys recognize the move.
Right.
Hey, game recognized game, man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna entertain it too much. It seemed like he not really with it. So I'm with it on my side. But I'm ready. If he's ready, I'm ready. But I got another date coming up, so I'll be announcing that soon. But if you with it, I'm still with it.
Okay, respect. And this is, and I'll put in like the most fair way. This is a respectful conversation flow of just like, look, I see you want a dance partner to get to Shakur. I could be that dance partner.
Hey, Ron, tell him, man, we trying to make boxing great again. I'm just showing you. Hey, come on.
That's what it say. Stay on the joint. Make boxing great again.
Make boxing great again.
So whoever with it, let's make boxing great.
Whatever boxing asking for, whatever the people asking for, whatever they want to see, let's do it.
Well, he said whatever boxing. That was Team Mason. zipping it up at the end, letting it be known. Hey, we heard what Schofield said. It is what it is. I mean, but it's a lot more to go to that. When it comes to bringing them two together to make it all work, it's called negotiation. It's called conversation. Whatever to get that pen to paper so we can go to the finalization and make this fight happen. That will be a solid fight right now. Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin, solid fight. If they can fight right here and in their careers being so young, absolutely cool with it. But it's quite difficult when fights are spoken on by the wrong people. They have teams that go along with this. It's team. So I really don't know what the teams when it comes to the management is talking about. I don't know if the counter offer of 2.5 is going to be entertained by Team Mason and his management, because that is a high figure. Plus, both fighters have to get paid. But I'm gonna be real with you. If I'm looking at the monetary measure, we understand that both fighters haven't made such money. But if the Schofields, are flexible, right, and they can be reasonable, it seems like somehow, some way they can make this fight happen with the pay. If they came with over 1 point some million, I think the fight can be made, man. I truly believe that. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say, because if the promoters have a different path for you, then the promoters is definitely going to let that be known by not even entertaining that offer that Team Mason put over there. So sometimes it's difficult to prognosticate or predict what's going on with these promotions. I'm gonna be serious with you. But if I'm looking at two names, yes, the temperature is right for the barometer. The temperature is absolutely right for Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, to fight Abdullah Mason. Both of them have had solid performances. Yes, Kid Austin was dropped in this fight. He selected to bang out. Abdullah Mason's been dropped twice. They have the backstory already. They have the content to put to the chapters. They do. They haven't had it on the professional ranks where they can talk about writing a chapter by sharing the ring together, but they already have a little bit of backstory about sparring. They have backstory with both of these guys now becoming professional and building up their career. Now they need to get to the serious aspect, if they indeed are serious, to get that paperwork signed, sealed, and delivered so we can see this fight. That's what we want to see. We want to see that fight between Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield. Floyd Schofield, Abdullah Mason. I want to see that fight, man. I think it'd be a very, very high volume fight, in my opinion. I think it'll be fought mostly on the inside. It's pluses and minuses for both fighters. Yes, it's pluses and minuses for both fighters. But it's hard to say where, when it comes to how promoters move their fighters and what they have planned, will it even happen? That's the aspect of boxing, man. And it gets you a little bit of frustration sometimes when it seems like, okay, these fighters right here, they should be easy to negotiate and make. And then it's just all this other stuff in between it that slows down or even halt future negotiations between them. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that. But shout out to Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis for signing sponsorships with Turki Al-Sheikh. And also, like I said, nobody else has mentioned and put it out there. But yes, I look at it like Turki Al-Sheikh was sending a clear tip of the arrow to Shakur Stevenson. Yes, that bitch was on fire too. He sent that arrow downrange. And you know what happened to those of you that was back there in the day where them Indians rolled up and they were shooting them arrows into them goddamn carriages and shit like that with that fire on them. They burned the place down. They burned the place down. And you know, if Shakur felt that he had any type of temperature with Turkey, Turkey sent them arrows down range and said, "Hey, look what I just posted on X." I wanted to Keyshawn Davis even tell Shakur that he was signing with Turkey. You know, because think about it. This is supposed to be family, right? So if we're talking about family business, well, one thing I always assume about Keyshawn Davis is that he gonna talk to his family before anything about the business. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna talk about the business, and they're all about the business if it makes sense. I don't think he called up Shakur and said, "Hey man, I know you and Turkey falling out. I just want to let you know, buddy. I'm about to head over there and sign this sponsorship deal." No, don't do it, Key. Come on, Key, man. We better than that, man. Hey, he fuck with one of us. He fuck with all of us. Hey, bro, don't do it, man. Stand your shit, bro. We can't let him get a hold and break us apart like that. We can't allow him to split us apart. Nah. Key was like, bro, you sound funny there, Shakur. You sound funny. But hey, I'm about to roll out with the fam, man. We'll be back in a little bit, man. We're about to go over here and got to sign this deal with Turk, get some food to eat, you know, wherever they got served, you know, 6-star, 7-star course meal, and we'll be back in town in 3 days. Okay, you want me to bring you any souvenirs from over there? Okay, cool. I know for a fact Keyshawn wasn't hearing that. Hey, man, stand down, yo. You see how he treated me? He told me these numbers, and then he lied to me. Man, come on. He fuck with one. He fuck with all, dog. Come on, Keyshawn. Don't break in, bro. Don't break in. Don't bend the knee. Keyshawn said, man, you making me laugh, big dog. You know I'm getting that money. You making me laugh, man. I'm going over there to get that money for sure. Keyshawn said, we packed up. We ready to go. We getting this money for show. Ain't nobody telling me a mother effing thing. That was a strategic move by Turkey, bro. He sent the clear. Crystal ain't got shit to do with that. He sent the clear, lucid message to Shakur Stevenson. You can cry, you can do whatever you want, complain about me all you want. But when I go and get your better half, your ace, and do business with him, and you know he's in the process of growing too, and that's gonna be more money. You know what that's gonna do, right? That's only gonna build up Keyshawn's brand. That's only gonna provide him with more leverage when he starts to really grow as a fighter. Oh man, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be sick. You know, moves are being made. Big salute to these brothers. I'm happy they're making their money. Generational wealth. Both of these cats got kids. They had their firstborn. You know, I'm happy for them, man. Make your money, make your money, make your money, man. Because if you don't, when you knock them gloves, things gonna get funny. If you look in that account and them numbers are low, and you're saying, damn, I really don't have enough to survive on for the rest of my life. What am I gonna do? Of course, these cats want to open up some type of investment, get some type of return on property. You know, as a boxer, there's not enough boxing gyms in the world. You know, it may be something outside of boxing that brings them that residual income. But I am happy for the brothers, though. I wish more brothers to get more the sponsorship. I wish they would, man. I wish they'd get more sponsorship. You don't see boxers on commercials like that. Like the commercial Sugar Ray did back in the day with his son. You don't see that too often. You really don't. You really don't see boxers on these commercials, getting that exposure, advertisement, all that. You don't see it for whatever reason. It's just a lack of respect that these networks have to put a boxer on there. I'm not saying it hasn't happened in this era, but I just don't see it. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I see you, man. Mr. International Toby on deck. Haynes said 1.5 is probably the most they would ever get. And that's kind of high. Neither fighter is very popular. I agree, man. Neither fighter has increased their value based off their opposition. You're right. I mean, 1.5 would be extremely. Oh my God. Who wouldn't fancy that? 1.5 is extremely handsome. Very, very fulfilling for a fight. Especially if you haven't been paid that much money before, nor have you fought any type of opposition that they saying, hey, this guy needs to be on pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? No, he hasn't had that yet. He hasn't had that yet. But solid point, man. I would want to see. Hold on for a second. Yo, shout out to Haynes with the $10 super chat, man. I thought I seen something come across my phone. Man, you already know it's love, man. Thanks for the super chat once again. Donate to the channel. And for those of you that's in the chat, continue praying for Haynes, man, so he can keep on marching through this health. I wouldn't call it a crisis. I would say, he's going through some health dilemmas right now. That he needs your prayer, he needs my prayer, and everybody else, man, to get this man through this. Make sure you all just send a simple prayer to the Most High and wish him a grand recovery. We much appreciate that $10 cash app in the cash app, my brother. Thank you. He said, I would want to see the fight next year when I believe one of them will have a belt. It's a little early because of the money. Well, it's going to get interesting. If Andy Cruz, from what I see, is potentially fighting for the vacant IBF title or fighting Vasily Lomachenko for that title, that's going to be, to be honest, that's going to be a nice little shakeup, a nice addition to the championship roster at 135. You're talking about, granted, Andy Cruz win. We have Keyshawn, we have Gervonta Tank Davis, and also we have Shakur Stevenson. Man, and no one's attempted to unify yet, so we'll just hold tight on that. But those are solid names. I don't think we'll ever get a unification right now at 135 like we did just years ago. I don't think that's going to happen. When it initially began, Lomachenko was unified. He picked up petition for the franchise belt. That left Devin Haney in the shoot, and he went on to fight Teofimo. You know the history. Teo, won, then fought Kambosos, lost, and then Kambosos fought Devin Haney, lost, and then the belts was vacated from there. But I don't see that coming up anytime soon. What's the difference from the sponsorship and being promoted by Turkey? For those like me that's unclear about the difference. The basic knowledge of sponsorships is pretty much you wear the brand, you got they have the ring brand. It's definitely about the brand. We're talking about the ring and, a certain type of stipend that is paid per fight. Now, I'm going to be honest. I really don't know the fine details about that because I really don't get knee deep into the money, but I will do more research though. I would think they get a stipend when they fight as, sponsored ring fighters. Like they had, what was that I was about to say about these fighters? I don't want to compare it to this, but it's almost like, the fighters that's on Snack, they wear the Snack logo and they get the supplements, somewhat like that. To me, people getting sponsored by Ring, obviously, they're going to get a some sort of stipend for signing that deal. I'm assuming a promotional deal to me would be just like it is anywhere else, is that Turkey is signing them to a certain name amount of fights. Let's just say 3-4 fights or whatever. And they're going to get paid a certain set name monetary value, aka purses for that fight. So they're going to be locked in contractually to fight, and it's going to be for a certain amount of money within purse per fight. Sponsorship, I think, it just deals with a stipend. And within the fine details of sponsorship may say, yeah, we're going to sponsor you for 5 to 7 fights. We're going to sponsor you. That means the ring, you're going to get paid extra, per fight with your rank every time you fight. I guess, assuming that's how it is. I have to just do more research about that. Definitely. But yeah, it's getting a little crazy with seeing the young talent, stepping up and getting these type of benefits. But also, I want to let you know about Abdullah. He's about to face Jeremiah Nakatilia, the same Jeremiah Nakatilia that faced Shakur Stevenson back in the right. And he gave him a pretty good run for his money. Gave him a pretty good run for his money. And then I think this is supposed to be on the De Los Santos undercard. I think this is going to be on the De Los Santos, the Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos undercard. So Abdullah Mason is about to fight on Keyshawn's undercard. And Abdullah Mason has more fights than Keyshawn, but Keyshawn is an Olympian. Now, the reason why I mention that is that certain people was crying about certain fighters fighting on undercards and all that. Hey, Abdullah Mason got the checks coming. He's about to fight on the undercard when he's been the main event before. It happens. Always remember, y'all, shit like this happens. But the more positive outlook is that you get more exposure and you're on an undercard with Keyshawn Davis, who is popping right now. Abdullah Mason is popping right now. They're popping right now. My guy Jahad Tucker's popping right now. We just need for the hands that be to reach out. But shout out to these two. They definitely are set to clash in the June 7th card. Okay, the June 7th card. Jeremiah Nakatilia is going to be fighting Abdullah Mason. Remember that. Keyshawn Davis is going to be fighting Edwin De Los Santos. Edwin De Los Santos and Jeremiah Nakatilia is a common opponent to Shakur Stevenson. Okay? Just wanted y'all to know that. Just wanted y'all to know that. But big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, man. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, Haynes. You know what I'm saying? But you know how it is, man, for us. Quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? Quality over quantity, bro. But shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, man. I'm not gonna stay on here long. Appreciate your time as always. Once again, keep your prayers wide open and loud enough so God can hear him for Haynes' legacy, so he can get better. You know what I'm saying? Get the recovery and keep on marching for his family. All right. Y'all continue to support. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.